Hello and welcome to this new tutorial. In today's tutorial, we shall talk about the concept of deterrence in international relations. Well, deterrence in international relations is a strategy which is designed to prevent an adversary from engaging in undesirable actions, especially act of aggression, by instilling fear or doubt about repercussion. So, when we talk about the concept of deterrence in international relations, it is basically a broad strategy, and that strategy is designed by every nation state to prevent any of your adversaries from engaging any undesirable actions against you. So, therefore, what you do as a state, that you build your ability, you build your capability in such a way that your force, your ability and capability is very much visible to the enemy state, and that would be enough to instill some sort of a fear in the enemy camps or create enough doubt that if they take any undesirable action or act of aggression against your interest, against your state, then they will have to face a major repercussion, a major blow will come on their way. And countries by and large in the world are maintaining some sort of a deterrence against their rivals, against their enemy state. So therefore, the core principles of deterrence is psychological. It is a psychological because it seeks to influence the adversary's decision making process by making him to perceive the cost of a specific action outweigh any potential benefit. Now this therefore is achieved through the projection of strength, credible threats of retaliation, and demonstrated resolves to follow through on those threats if necessary. So what does it mean? It means that when we talk about deterrence core principle is psychological. It is all about how you influence your adversary's decision making process. If you have the ability, if you have the capability, if you have all the instrument which is needed, and these instruments are much visible to your enemy state, then it will pass a strong sort of a current or some sort of a strong message would be given to your enemy state, and it will impact him psychologically, that he would know that if he takes any unnecessary action against your interest or against you, he will have to face a potential threat, a retaliation coming from your state. And by and large, in international politics or in international relations, how do we achieve that psychological deterrence? It is only through by projecting your strength. And therefore, countries invest a lot of money into army, building their strong army, modernized army, in fact, with modern technology, with stealth features when it comes to their air force, missiles if need arise, nuclear capability, right? And probably in today in 21st century, how strong your technological base is altogether. So therefore, the military capability has to be visible. It should be seen by your enemy state. Your strength should be very much visible, and if any unnecessarily undesirable action committed by the enemy state, then you should also retaliate very heavily. So once the enemy state knows that you as a state has enough credibility, you have the ability, you have everything what is required, and you can hit them at any point of time, that will instill enough fear, a psychological fear, into the minds of the decision making process which is involved on the other side of the border. And the fear of total retaliation, the fear of threat coming up directly would make them understand that it is better that we don't interfere and don't challenge the state or the country. And therefore, in this context, the deterrence is nothing but a psychological warfare. Therefore, you look at in the contemporary international world order, the great powers always demonstrate their technology. They would demonstrate their mechanized infantry, they would demonstrate their big ships, aircraft carriers, submarine, nuclear powered aircraft carrier, nuclear powered submarine, missiles technology, stealth technology in the air force, and the credibility of the long range missile system. So if one nation has everything, then it is very obvious that the other country will think million times. Moving on, the effectiveness of deterrence actually relies on three important components: capability, credibility, and communication. Capability refers to a state's tangible power such as military strength, advanced technology, or economic influence that actually enables it to carry out its threat. Next, credibility involves convincing the adversaries that the state not only possesses the means but also the will to retaliate. And communication ensures that the threat is clearly conveyed and understood, leaving no ambiguity about the consequences of defiance. So therefore, when we talk about the actual effectiveness of the deterrence, these three capabilities, these three key components are very important, and it's all about how the states are using them effectively to convey their point. So therefore, capability of the state is very important. Your military strength, the kind of technology which you have, right, the economic power what you have, and the way you can influence the economies matters a lot, and that enables you as a state to carry out your threats at one go. Credibility, as we have already discussed, matters a lot because it basically involves a convincing posture to your adversaries that it is not just about you have the ability to hit you, but you also possess all means if need arise. You have the ability to hit any point of time because you have that retaliation capability. And therefore, you need to convey this message, you need to communicate this message very clearly to your rivals, to your enemy state. And once this is conveyed to them, they would understand that there is no any sort of a ambiguity as far as making the decision is concerned. If you hit our interest, we will hit you back. So that is how the state use capability, credibility, and communication as a very important component for deterrence. Moving on, historically, deterrence played a pivotal role during the Cold War, as we have seen already, where the doctrine of mutual assured destruction was much talked about, and that mutually assured destruction actually prevented nuclear escalation between the United States and Soviet Union. So this is very much been talked about, discussed all along the Cold War period, that because both United States and Soviet Union had and have their nuclear arsenal, and it was very much known that if the one state use it against another, then obviously other state also going to retaliate, and therefore it was very much acceptable that if one state goes for a nuclear war, then it is obviously mutual assured destruction. Both states will lose everything. Therefore, in modern time, modern deterrence strategies, however, extend beyond traditional military threats. They now encompasses cybersecurity, economic sanctions, and hybrid warfare to address evolving challenges such as terrorism, cyber attacks, and rogue state. So today in modern time, it is not just all about nuclear deterrence. It is all about now the states have moved beyond traditional military threat because there are new threats which are emerging, new technologies are emerging, and therefore having a credibility and capability of cyberspace or cybersecurity is very important. Having strong economy plays a very important because you can always put economic sanctions on those states. And also today's states are reaching out to the hybrid warfare. That is because the challenges have changed. Today, more than a state actor as a threat, you have non-state actors like terrorism. There are cyber attacks and there are rogue states all around us. So therefore, to tackle these issues, you need to have a new strategies. You need to have new deterrence strategy, and therefore building up your capability in cybersecurity, making your economy more strong, and adapting to a new warfare, hybrid warfare, is a need of the hour. While deterrence has proved effective in maintaining peace and stability, it also faces criticism for its potential to provoke arms race, escalate tension, and its limited applicability to non-state actors or irrational adversaries. Well, as we all know that deterrence has proved effective to maintain the world peace, at least to a great extent, but still it faces some sort of a criticism, and that criticism obviously comes in terms of arms race. Because if one nation goes for a nuclear war or nuclear warhead or nuclear technology, so does the other nation wants to have it. So that also has raised arms race. That also has led to the escalation in tensions, right? And this deterrence largely is applicable on a state as an actor. It does not applicable to a non-state actors, because non-state actors does not have permanent base. They are movable across the world, and therefore it becomes very difficult to apply deterrence on non-state actors and also irrational adversaries wherever they are. Nonetheless, it remains a cornerstone of a global security strategies, adapting to contemporary threats while striving to prevent conflict and uphold international order. So end of the day, it still remains a very important perspective or a concept or a cornerstone in a global security strategy, because end of the day, deterrence have also been adopted in contemporary security threat perspective, and to some extent the deterrence have prevented conflict, and it also have upholded the international order, as we are going through a transformation phase today in the international politics and international relations. By and large, deterrence still holds relevance, and therefore only time will tell us how long the idea of a deterrence will uphold the international order. So this is all about the concept of deterrence in international relations, and I will see you soon in next tutorial. Till then, take care.